what was your inspiration for your act?
What we've tended to notice, we've been doing live comedy monthly back in Northern Ireland at a comedy club called Anar Comedy that we set up so we could have a platform to do, really, where we have other stand-ups. And we do a brand new hour of sketches every month, last Saturday of the month, because we always just wanted to keep giving ourselves deadlines, keep writing as much material as possible, because now we're here, we've done about 10 hours worth. We've had 10 hours to choose from to make it into our Fringe hour. And the one thing that I think every sketch that we've ever done has is there's just some horrific element or trauma or death or just dark matter and dark tone in everything we've ever kind of done. And we just sort of realized, well, maybe we should, if we're doing a special Fringe show, we should have a bit of a through line and let that be known, like on the poster. It's why it's called Scenes of Unfathomable Horror. Say that 10 times backwards when you're drunk. So yeah, I would say that that's probably the most consistent thing, and maybe if there's something untapped in all of us, that's why that seems to always be at the forefront of everything we do. But I think that's the main theme.
I think a conversation that happens a lot when we're brainstorming ideas is, all right, how do we not end this sketch with someone getting shot with a gun? But that breeds more creativity. I think in terms of like influences, I think we've all been very much into absurd British comedy staples like Monty Python, obviously, and I've always been a huge fan of League of Gentlemen, and they always have dark, very, very dark heart elements in that, and just in the performances as well, being like completely over the top and absurd, and really getting into the characters that you are. And yeah, physical comedy like Bottom and stuff like that. So I think just a broad range of like classic British comedy. I know you have a lot of sort of American comedy groups that you're sort of into as well.
Shout out whitest kids you know.
Yeah, what they said.
Would you say you've got a dark sense of humour to make a show like this then?
I mean, maybe it's like cliche to say, but I think almost one of the things we like that are surprising about the show are when we do things that are like completely the opposite of dark, things that are like really bright and like almost like jovial. I think that's when
some would say campy.
Oh,
at
yeah.
times.
Yeah.
So and then I think maybe that gives you then the contrast to set the more bleak stuff against. But yeah, usually the most ridiculous stuff is not like graphic or anything. Like, it's not that horrific. It's the ridiculously over the top campy stuff. Don't know if you want to comment on that.
I think that's banging the nail on the head there. It's not like we're sitting down to try and write or produce this messed up sketch. It's like a happy coincidence. But yeah, it's nice that we do try to have a broad range, and we aim to do 5 to 6 live sketches a month back home, and we always try to have them be, so different from one another. So it's not like we're sort of churning out the same kind of material.
Is the work schedule, like the late show, similar to what you're doing over in Ireland?
In terms of like doing a show at 10:30?
Yeah.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we run the comedy night and our comedy. It's from about 8 o'clock till 10:30 on the last Saturday of the month. We would usually be taken to the stage around 9:30. So yeah, we're doing a live show here at 10:30, and when we applied for the Fringe, it was hoping to get that time slot. It was honestly like a dream come true that everything fell into place, because we like that the show that we've kind of created sets that tone. Yeah. I doubt this is the kind of show you want to come see and then go for brunch afterwards. This is the place you want to find the dodgy bars that are still open at that time afterwards, and maybe go have a quiet pint and have a think about what you saw, because that's what we do.
Yeah, or try to purge all memory of the experience from your brain. No, I just agree with that. I had another thought that I was going to say, but it's not quite coming to me now. But yeah, I think the evening show definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I also like the evening. No, it's good, and like what Jay said, I'm still surprised by the show, and I know what's gonna happen, and it's still wild for me. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I think when we've been flying, you get more crazy characters coming out in the evening as well, and those are exactly our target demographic.
Definitely, we've had a lot of interesting conversations with people on the street. There's a lot of interesting people out there. Obviously, we're not exactly maybe normal looking ourselves, so I'm not casting judgment.
There's a couple of guys who've been like, right, I'm coming to the show, and I'm actually like kind of scared
Yeah.
if they do actually show up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we've
there
been
are.
all right so far.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, God forbid some of the maniacs out there come to one of these shows. We're in trouble. Anyway.
I don't know if I've asked this question already, but how did you all three of you get into comedy, like individually?
So my whole life, I've always been trying to, pursue comedy, however you want to use that phrase. I've never really wanted to have like a real job. Do any of us?
Yeah, neither.
And so I ended up going to university to study film and television in London. And the whole purpose of that was, how do I get into comedy TV? That's the only reason. I ended up getting some TV work, being the guy that gets the tea for the guy that gets the coffee. That's a Kevin Bridges bit. And the TV work I've done as I've grown through the years, I'm not doing, obviously, my own stuff, so to speak. So alongside that, I've always tried to have comedy projects, just to sort of, which has been like a fun hobby because it's what I've always been really passionate about doing. One of the first things I ever made was a show called Roaring Boys. At the time, while studying, I worked in this children's seaside fun park, which will not be named, but I will describe it as the place where dreams and often children go to die. No one.
Never on our watch.
We legally have to say that's a joke.
Yeah. But that's where I met Reese, for example. And while we worked there, I was like, I should make a TV show about how awful it is to work here. Write about what you know. And I needed actors, but I had no money. So Reese was one of the actors. And just through that, like, it was almost kind of like colleagues first, friends second. And I think we're almost at the point where we're friends first.
I wouldn't get ahead of yourself. Well, maybe we'll see how Edinburgh goes. But yeah, that's and I didn't think we were filming a show. To be honest, I just thought maybe I just thought it was at work, and there was cameras around. I thought maybe finally, the news was reporting on what was going on at this place. They were finally going to shut it down, or maybe it was like a Netflix documentary or something that was finally going to come out about this place. And it's coming. We might do that next. But yeah, and I feel like we've it's a. I don't know how that's led us to be here at the Fringe is wild.
I can give the glossary.
Go ahead.
Yep. So we do Roaring Boys. Danny is a long friend of mine, and Danny was involved in the very first episode on screen, and we did 5 episodes, like zero budget, on YouTube for free. Danny, who's one of the most technically gifted and sound people I know, in terms of like music, in terms of just production, technology. He's the guy who, Reese and I were trying to discuss earlier, what does an XLR cable do? So we're not quite too sure. But so yeah, Danny like helped with the music for like every episode. And I feel like from then, Danny's always been like, oh, I want it, whatever I'm doing, I want it to be better. Danny's always been like my sort of go-to person for that. About 5 years ago is whenever we sort of set up the name Past the Label, where Paddy and we wrote and produced a Spotify audio sketch series called Sounds of Unfathomable Horror, which is available still to listen to now, wherever you get your podcasts. It's a 6-part audio sketch show, and that was like what sort of cemented as, okay, we've maybe sort of found a nice blueprint where we can, sort of make, I hate this word, content that we believe reflects what we're capable of. And that led to the two of us writing for a BBC Radio Ulster sketch show called Quick Comedy. And yeah, it's always sort of been, what's the next project, basically. We did a TV, well, we made a pilot, a 30-minute comedy pilot called The Night Show, about Paddy and I playing these two horrendous TV hosts of a fictional live late-night talk show. And it's still not been released anywhere because we just love putting loads of effort into something and not releasing it. It always just sort of felt it was like we had the right thing but wrong time to do anything about it, which Danny and Reese were also heavily involved in. And then it got to about this time last year in August of 2024, we'd done stuff for video, we'd done stuff for audio, and I was just like, it's time we do something live. And again, my usual go-to people is I was like, Paddy, let's just start trying to write live sketches. We've never done that before. If I need anybody, it always feels embarrassing to say this in front of people, and I've said this to a lot of people when describing him, but never to your face. When I make a comedy project, I describe Reese as the secret sauce. On screen and off, he makes whatever you're doing better. And then when talking to Danny, I was just like, this is like a big scale production. I'd love to have you involved and get your thoughts. And I think with that, all four of us have been able to add their own strengths to it. And that's what I think what we've been doing back home has been a really unique product. Like there's no night out that I'm aware of that is what we do. And that's just purely because all four of us, maybe for good reason.
Yeah.
But and the fact that we're all friends and we all have similar backgrounds, we don't just meet up to try and be funny. We occasionally go to the pub together too and try and just hang out. And yeah, I've spoken and rambled enough, so I'll let the other guys have their say.
I was just going to say, it feels like it's one of those crazy ideas you have with your friends. You talk about making a movie or something, but this one, you actually went and did it. And obviously credit to Jay because he's very good at just being like, we're going to do this next week. We have no idea. We haven't even started working on it, but it's happening, so we better get our arses in gear and get it done.
Yeah, I've always said this about you, Jay, and I never to your face, and certainly never on camera. But yeah, like Jay's very like driven, and I think without Jay kind of trucking things along, I know I wouldn't have the first clue what's going on, and as I went with Danny as well. I still don't know what an XLR is. You guys keep mentioning it, and it's got to the point where like it's too late to ask.
I'm going to be sick if we say any more nice things about each other. Let's get back to the normal programming.
Yeah.